The relationship between life and death has long been a paradox that occupies the human mind. Death, although a universal reality, remains an entirely unknown realm for the living and for the dead. It is no longer a concept that applies. We will all die one day, but death remains an abstract idea, distant from our experience. Truly understanding, grasping, and coming to terms with death is, in many ways, an overwhelming experience for all of us. The ancient philosopher Epicurus argued that death is of no concern to either the living or the dead because it exists outside the realm of experience. To think about death while alive, in a sense, is to delve into a thought that transcends existence, into the concept of nothingness. This takes death beyond a mere biological event and transforms it into a profound philosophical question. The living cannot experience death. It is not a state of consciousness because no one is there to experience it. Epicurus's view suggests that the fear of death stems largely from our terror of moving beyond conscious existence into the unknown. Now, confronting and thinking about death brings us face to face with fundamental questions of existence. The relationship between consciousness and death raises unsettling questions about our very nature. As conscious beings, we continue to live while death remains an end, a mystery in our minds. Our awareness of death and our thoughts on it push the boundaries of human thought. To think about death is to confront the concept of nothingness, a concept that is inherently difficult to grasp. Nothingness, by definition, is the absence of being. But how do we ascribe meaning to something that doesn't exist? What does it mean when something is not there? Death, by its nature, forces us to wrestle with this paradox. As conscious beings, we are always seeking to make sense of things. But death tells us nothing, only a void, a blank space. This uncertainty is one of the core reasons death is so frightening. Philosopher Eugene Thacker's work brings us even deeper into these questions, urging us to reconsider our ability to comprehend the nature of death and reality. According to Thacker, to fully understand death and ultimate reality is beyond the capacity of human thought. Reality and death, as concepts, remain mysteries, ultimately unknowable. The true nature of death and reality is a riddle that we are forever unable to solve. We are confronted with uncertainty, a challenge that defies our instinct to seek answers. Accepting that the ultimate truth of death may always be hidden from us forces us to wrestle with the limits of our own thinking. Thinking about death can be both frightening and liberating at the same time. Because once we realize that we can never truly know what death is, there may be a sense of release. If death is something fundamentally different from what we imagine, then maybe our fears are misplaced. After all, death might be nothing more than a conceptual idea, and it's us who impose meaning onto it. Knowing that life is finite pushes us to live more fully, to cherish every moment, and to find meaning in the time we have. This fear of death is intrinsically linked to our search for meaning. The fear of death might be what ultimately pushes us to appreciate life more. Death, instead of being an end, can serve as a reminder to question the deeper meaning of life. The mere knowledge that death is inevitable forces us to evaluate the value of life itself. The awareness of death constantly reminds us to cherish our existence, to live intentionally, and to seek purpose in everything we do. Reflecting on death and life inevitably leads to a deeper inner questioning. Who are we? What do we truly value? How do we make the most of this short time we have? And yet, within this reflection, there is also a deep sense of fear, uncertainty, and anxiety. Ultimately, death is something that each person must face in their own way, and each of us will confront this thought uniquely. As Thacker argues, understanding the true nature of death may forever remain out of reach. But despite this uncertainty, how we choose to live, how we choose to make meaning of our lives, is entirely up to us. Accepting that the ultimate truths about death may remain beyond our grasp could actually lead to a more liberated and profound understanding of life itself. In conclusion, death may be far more frightening than we imagine. But perhaps the greatest source of that fear is simply that we do not know how to fully comprehend it. As we grapple with the meaning of life and death, the fact that some things are inherently unknowable can deepen our search for existential meaning. We find ways to make each moment valuable, attempting to make life meaningful. At this point, having discussed death, life, and existence, it is important to also consider the concept of God. As we reflect on death and life, we inevitably think about the nature of the universe and the role of something greater. So, what can we say about God's existence? Proving the existence of God has long been a subject of philosophical and scientific debate. But the search for definitive proof of God's existence often leads to a deeper questioning of our own existence. The complexity of the universe, its order, and the uniqueness of life all point toward the necessity of a creator. The natural world, with its intricate systems and order, cannot have arisen from mere chance. This suggests that the universe must have a designer. This designer, in philosophical terms, could be God. The regularity and complexity of natural phenomena, the laws of nature, point to a deeper intelligence behind it all, perhaps the work of God. Additionally, the moral laws inherent in human beings also suggest the existence of a higher power. Our sense of right and wrong, our ability to distinguish between good and evil, is an innate part of human nature. This moral capacity seems to be a reflection of a divine presence. If humans have an inherent sense of morality, then it points to the existence of a creator who instilled this sense within us. Ultimately, proving the existence of God might not be something that can be definitively done through empirical methods. However, the existence of the universe, the beauty of life, and the innate sense of morality that resides within us all provide powerful hints, perhaps even proof, of God's presence. In reflecting on life, death, and existence, we may feel the undeniable presence of a creator, not through clear-cut evidence, but through the very fabric of the world around us. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Take care.